Welcome to MonkeyByte, where we cut through the noise with 7 stories that matter, starting now with the courtroom revolution. ChatGPT on the stand and how AI evidence is rewriting criminal law.
I'm Blue, and today I'm bringing my full skepticism to the hype, demanding hard numbers over headlines. But before we dive in, let's be clear. Every frame of this show, from the research and script to the voices and production, is fully AI generated, and we take that capability with pride. We're not apologizing for the machine. We're leveraging it to give you a fireside chat on big picture thinking that feels intimate, reflective, and entirely real.
The courtroom just got a new exhibit, and it's not a weapon or a diary. It's a chat log with an AI. Today, prompts and responses from ChatGPT are officially admissible evidence in high-profile cases, including the investigation into the Florida student killings.
Think of it think of it more as a digital confession booth where the priest is a neural network. Here's the thing though, the math gets messy. We're treating algorithmic suggestions as human intent. If a suspect asked an AI to plan a crime, does that make the AI an accomplice or just a calculator? The fragility of the infrastructure storing this data is wild too. Remember GitHub patched that critical remote code execution flaw earlier this year.
Wait, really? So if the model hallucinates a detail, does that taint the whole chain of custody? How do we prove the user didn't just edit the output after the fact?
That's the part that gets me. We're blurring the line between human agency and algorithmic suggestion. It's basically a mirror, but one that reflects our own biases back at us with terrifying speed. The digital footprint is now treated with the same weight as traditional forensics, fundamentally altering how we define planning.
It forces us to ask if privacy is dead before the trial even starts. But here's the reality check. We can't unplug the internet. The next big story is how defense attorneys will weaponize these same logs to show AI bias, so stay tuned. The EU just slammed the door on Google's Android AI monopoly, and frankly, it's a regulatory earthquake.
Here's the thing though, the mandate forces Google to ditch its exclusive Gemini lock. Think of it like a landlord suddenly demanding you let other tenants into your building because you've been charging everyone extra for the view. The EU argues restricting rival models violates competition laws. But does the math actually work for Google's cloud margins?
Wait, really? So this isn't just about opening an app drawer, it's about dismantling the entire default interface strategy that built their empire.
It's basically a restructuring of mobile AI integration globally. If Europe cracks the door open, every other market will follow, forcing Google to build a truly open ecosystem, or watch their cloud platform ranking slip behind the new challengers.
That actually ties into the broader 2026 tech pressure cooker, including the OpenAI legal battles. We'll unpack how these regulatory tectonic plates shift the rest of the industry next. This deal is a massive leap forward for national security. Imagine having the world's most advanced reasoning engine directly integrated into our command structure. It's not just about speed, it's about giving our operators a co-pilot that can process classified intel faster than any human team ever could. We're finally bridging the gap between civilian innovation and military necessity.
Okay, but here's what nobody's talking about. Unfettered access sounds like a marketing slogan until you realize the math doesn't actually work for privacy. Think of it like letting a stranger into your home with a master key because they promise to be good. Google employees are already objecting internally. Does the strategic gain outweigh the risk of a single compromised model? That's the part that gets me.
That's interesting. You're right about the internal friction, but consider this. OpenAI and xAI are already in this space. If we don't bring Google in, we're playing catch-up while adversaries watch. It's basically actually, think of it more as a forced evolution. We can't afford to be the only ones lagging behind in AI integration.
You might have a point there. If the tech is truly superior and the safeguards are ironclad, then the pressure on Google makes sense. It's not about fear-mongering. It's about ensuring the tool is robust enough for the job. But we still need to watch the data flow closely.
So basically, we're walking a tightrope between unprecedented capability and unavoidable risk. That's the reality of modern defense. Let's keep an eye on how this plays out in the coming months. The White House just drafted guidance to bypass Anthropic's safety flags, and honestly, it feels like a massive leap forward for national security. We're finally aligning our AI infrastructure with the speed of modern threats, ensuring our multi-agent frameworks like recursive MAS operate without unnecessary friction. This isn't just policy, it's about keeping pace with the rapid evolution of our digital defenses.
Okay, but here's what nobody's talking about. The math doesn't actually work that cleanly. Think of it like removing the brakes on a car just because you're driving fast. If we override those risk labels, we aren't just speeding up, we're inviting unvetted vulnerabilities into federal systems. The DV World Benchmark just evaluated 260 tasks, showing how wild agent development is. But does bypassing core safety mechanisms really solve the problem, or just hide it?
That's interesting. You're right about the friction, but consider this. If the government is racing to regulate evolving architectures, maybe the old safety layers are too slow. The timing coincides with recursive MAS because the tech is moving faster than the labels can update. It's basically a necessary trade-off to maintain operational tempo, even if the risk profile shifts slightly.
You might have a point there. If the labels lag behind the tech, they become obsolete noise. But we still need to ask if the math holds when we strip away those safeguards. It's not about speed for speed's sake. It's about whether the new rules actually prevent harm while allowing innovation. That's the part that gets me.
So basically, we're walking a tightrope between security and agility. Whether that balance works long-term remains to be seen, but at least we're having the hard conversation now. Speaking of infrastructure, let's see how this plays out in the coming weeks. NVIDIA just dropped Nemotron 3 Nano Omni, and honestly, it looks like the end of the multimodal mess. It unifies vision, audio, and language into one efficient system, which is exactly what we've been waiting for.
Here's the thing though, I'm not buying the magic without seeing the math. Think of old agent architectures like trying to pass a hot potato through 3 different people. You lose heat and drop the ball. This new model eliminates those handoffs entirely. It's basically a single engine handling documents and video feeds simultaneously, achieving a 9-fold efficiency boost. That's the part that gets me because, finally, the overhead is gone.
Okay, so basically, the latency issues are solved by design rather than patchwork. If the numbers hold up, this changes how we build agents overnight. But let's be real, we'll need to see the benchmarks before we celebrate too hard. That's the stack for today. For MonkeyByte, I'm Sky. Thank you for tuning in.
And I am Blue. Be sure to subscribe for more technical analysis. Keep exploring.